Welcome back to SnowRunner, guys, and today we are going to be diving right back into console mods. We're going to be talking about one of the potentially most ridiculous, overpowered vehicles available on console mods, excluding the monstrosity, of course, and we're also going to be talking about some of the potential issues that a lot of people have been having and go through either how to fix them or just covering the issues as they are, because some we may have to wait a little while for them to get solved. But all of that is going to be discussed in the upcoming video, so make sure you hang around and enjoy. So in regards to this truck, a lot has actually happened in between when I recorded the first clip and now when I record this commentary, and one of the things that has happened is this truck has now disappeared from the console mods dashboard. I am not sure why, but when we get to the gameplay part of the video, you guys will probably be able to imagine where there might have been some issues arising with this particular truck. Now, one of the issues in question is that this truck actually had a lot of upgrades that caused negative money. So basically what that means is when you would buy the upgrade, it would give you right there, for example, on the winch, it was like negative $5 million or something. I don't know if I'm counting that number of zeros correctly, but either way, that particular upgrade, if you bought that, it would give you loads of money. The problem is, if you ever sold that truck, it would deduct all of that money again. And a lot of people were getting their in-game money put into the negatives for some weird reasons that were kind of going unexplained. And now I'm going to actually kind of get into what all has been going on now that console mods have launched. Now, these negative money glitches in particular have been something that has been really filling up my comment section a lot lately over the past day or so, ever since console mods have dropped. Now, it's not the only issue that I've seen people reporting, but it's definitely an issue that I've seen mentioned a lot in the comments. I've also seen some people saying that their mod browser isn't there, and if your mod browser isn't there, I definitely think the first thing you need to do is back out of the game and close every instance of it that you have open and check to make sure that you actually have the update itself. And I have been hearing about some people that have been having issues with the update not getting pushed to their systems, although one thing I would definitely do is go ahead and do like a hard reset of your system, make sure you're starting it up completely clean, completely fresh, and then go and try to start the game again, and you should have the update. Now, there have also been other vehicles that have disappeared, not just this one. So the IX trucks, as of last checking, at least as of when doing this video, now I'm sure this will change in the future, but as of recording this video, the 3880 Heavy Wrecker is available on console mods, and the standard IX Wrecker is not. Now, I think that that is due to an issue that they were having with the rollback bed and the controls of it, and if that's, like, I know that that's almost completely accurate, not 100% on that, but I know that the issue had something to do directly with the rollback bed itself. Now, whether or not the IX Wrecker, the standard one, will be back immediately or back a little bit later, I'm not sure, but it should be back soon. Now, as you can see with this truck, I'm pretty sure the reason why it got removed was due to the money glitches, but also the performance is a little odd. Now, it might not look odd right off the bat. I mean, you can see that it's got some rear wheel steer, but the way that it jumps off of the line is very strange, and I can definitely see how that could kind of be, maybe not necessarily grounds for removal, but I could definitely see how this truck could have been swarmed with a little bit of, like, negative attention due to the way its performance is tuned, and then that's possible. That might not be the exact reason why it got pulled, but it could very well be. Now, keep in mind, like I said, this truck is not currently available on mod.io on consoles. However, it may become available in the future again. I'm not sure. That's kind of the way it's going right now with console mods, is that you never quite know if a vehicle is going to be there the next time you go to use it, which can be a little bit disconcerting, but at the end of the day, I definitely think that there's a lot of vehicles that will probably never move. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Frog's Custom Crawler, absolutely blowing up. That thing, as of recording this video, and I'm sure this number will be higher once time goes on, but as of recording this video, Frog's Custom Crawler has like 70,000 people subscribed to it. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely incredible. And I mean, you know, hats off to him for the development on that one, because it's completely insane. Now, one of the things that we're trying to do here in this video, and I'm actually going to go ahead and disable those beacons real quick, one of the things that we're going to go ahead and do is I really wanted to throw a vehicle on the flatbed, which was on the back of this modded Voron, just to see if I could keep it there, even with it being packed. And I also wanted to see kind of how long it would stay there. So brought out an Azov just to kind of get a crane in the mix. And as you can see with this thing, it basically just does donuts. You floor it, and it's like, it yeets itself around, and it's like, oh, this is just freaking weird. You know what I mean? It drives so awkwardly. And I mean, I know that if you want something crazy and wild and over the top, I mean, it's definitely not monstrosity crazy, but in terms of like modified standard trucks, it's definitely in the realm of crazy. So now we're going to bring the little loaf out to the yard here, pick it up with the crane, and load it onto the back of the truck. Now, I spent a little bit of time with this to make sure I got it right, and, you know, I didn't get exactly to where I wanted it, but, you know, it's one of those things you work with sometimes, and it's kind of odd because you want to get it exactly placed on the like on the center of the flatbed, but I ended up kind of going with a slightly off but almost straight. You know, you get the idea. And because I'm like, you know what, it does the trick. I just need it to be on the back of the truck, and it'll be fine. You know, it'll be good to go. It'll be fine. It'll be on the back of the truck. No worries at all. Now, another thing that I tried out with this truck, and I'm sure that you guys will, like, the guys out there in the chat, it's not a stream, in the comments that are all about the realism will definitely go, oh my god, this truck is so insanely overpowered. Like, when we go to drive it, you'll be like, what even is this thing? Because it blows through mud like nobody's business. You literally drive this thing into the mud, put it in high, floor it, and you just don't lift. You just don't lift, and it just goes. It just goes, and it goes, and it goes, and it keeps going, and it doesn't let up until it gets where it's going. Now, also, guys, I want you guys to let me know in the comments section down below, what console mods have you been enjoying, and what console mods have you been really enjoying using? Because I would love to know which ones have really kind of inspired you guys to use mods a little bit more. Now, another thing that I wanted to address is the crazy amount of people that have been saying that their mod.io verification codes have not been coming through. Now, what I have to report on that is that supposedly mod.io has been getting overloaded, so overloaded, in fact, with new users that the servers can't keep up in terms of how fast people are requesting verification codes. And I believe it, because something similar to that happened when SnowRunner first launched on PC, and a bunch of people were jumping onto mod.io as a platform. So rest assured, I'm sure those codes will make their way to you in time. And I know that it's very, very frustrating to not have your code get there immediately, but part of me feels like mod.io may not have been originally designed to deal with that big of a player load, especially with the amount of new users that sort of stormed that service right when console mods launched. And so I'm sure that the thought of them having a total server overload is very accurate. Now, as you can see, now that we're driving this truck, you can see that the performance of it is so over the top, it's not even funny. And I'm surprised that the loaf is still on it. I'm surprised that the loaf was able to hang on. I mean, literally, it's doing its best. It's literally doing its freaking best to hang on to that flatbed. I don't know how it hasn't come off yet, but literally, somehow it's still there. Now, you can throw this thing into the mud in high, and it does not budge. It literally does not matter. It's just like, oh yeah, we're fine, don't worry about it. Now, it slows down a little bit in the really thick, like really deep stuff, but even so, you just keep it pinned, you just keep it flat out, and eventually you'll be fine. Now, I can understand why there are a lot of people that might not want this truck in their campaign sessions, because you could probably finish a standard campaign map in a few minutes with this thing, especially with how fast it is and with how grippy the tires are. It can basically drive up almost anything that it wants to, provided that you're not at such an angle that you stall the engine out. So that's really the only thing you ever have to worry about with this truck. It's kind of for those times when you're in that mood of wanting to just take a truck and go completely crazy with it and literally see how far you can push the thing. What was really impressive to me about this part is how for almost all of these jumps, and you'll see why I say almost in just a second, almost all of these jumps, the loaf stayed on. It was only when we got a little bit too much angle, a little bit too much lean angle, that the loaf was like, yeah, I'm out. Peace. See ya. So now that the loaf has jumped off the back of the truck, I was like, you know, that's kind of sad, but I'm just going to go ahead and head out to the bridge jump anyway, because whether or not I had the loaf on the back was never going to be the deciding factor of whether or not we hit the bridge jump. Hitting the bridge jump was just something we were going to do, no matter what, because the bridge jump in itself is such a staple of every single mod test that, and yeah, that right there, okay, let me explain what happened there. That right there, obviously these tires don't grip very well on the pavement, but even when they let go, if you just go to like do a little bit of counter steer, the rear wheel steering actually fights you and kind of forces you to go the opposite way, and so that's kind of why we ended up in that tree. But heading up the hill, getting ready to head down the hill, got caught up in the rocks a little bit, not sure why, but kind of just, you know, told Beans to brace himself, and we took off. Now, I just wanted to make sure also that the camera didn't glitch under the bridge, and so I stayed in first-person view for most of that, and then launched off the ramp and went right into the freaking barrels. Literally a perfect landing, at least in my book with what I like to see. But if you guys enjoyed this test of this ridiculous truck that was recorded, by the way, on Xbox Series X, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to y'all later.